Hi there. I'm trying something new. I'm going to do a little mm, video diary, I guess I'll call it. I started something today that I'd like to keep track of and see how I'm doing with it and how I look and feel. For years, I have tried different antidepressants and anxiety medications and things, and I haven't had a lot of luck with them. And I've spent the last couple of years struggling more from a pretty abusive relationship that triggered some childhood trauma stuff. So actually more like have CPTSD over just regular PTSD. I'm trying to keep it all straight right now. And then some new things in the last 6 months that are like, I guess, stimming. There's initials for it, BFDR or something like that. I can always look them up. Find myself involuntarily curling and clenching my toes and my fingers when I'm sitting still and stuff like that, and to the point of like cramping my feet and when I'm doing that. So anyway, I have a great counselor that I've had for about 2 years, and I think it was last summer I went to a wellness center that I go to sometimes for yoga classes and things, and they did a class, I guess you'd call it, or a presentation. That was a guy with this strange helmet thing, and it's from a place called Living Water Wellness in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina here, but the specific company, which is new to the area, is called Radial, and they do a treatment that's fairly new called TMS. And I'm going to put that on the video too because I'm not going to try to say that. Today was my first day, and I was extremely anxious and had looked a lot of things up, and probably too much that was, I don't know, bad stuff and good stuff, so I started with the bad stuff. I trust the research that I had done. I trust a lot of the different things that I read over the weekend and testimonials and stuff. It's not 100% successful. It's got very good success rates. Some it diminishes symptoms. Some it's at least professed to actually clear symptoms completely up. Going into it, and it's going to be kind of the month of February for me. I am not really supposed to change anything normal other than I need to get more sleep, because that was one thing that I do not get enough of, and they said it's not as effective. So there's nights, 6 months now too, that I was just not sleeping all night, closing my eyes. And other good nights it would be 3 or 4 hours. So wanted to commit to this treatment and really put my best into it and be as healthy and structured as I could be to focus on that. So I have the month dedicated to that, and eating healthier and eating enough and sleeping better. I started some supplements a couple weeks ago, just regular supplements like theanine, I believe that's how you say it, right? And then I take that in the morning, it's a chewable, and then I do magnesium glycate before bed, which was about 4 or 5 nights ago I started, and it was last night that I noticed that it really helped me fall asleep, but helped me stay asleep, because usually I'll wake, and when I wake up a couple hours later, 4 or 5 hours later, I'm just wide awake, whereas I just couldn't wait to go back to sleep. So that's a good thing, because I've got to get at least, they said 6, I think minimum 6 hours sleep. So that's what I'm doing. And I think I mentioned, like, everything's kind of supposed to stay constant. So all my regular medications that I've already been taking related to mental health. So anti-anxiety medicine 3 times a day, and before bed I take my depression medication. So today I went, and they had to spend some time, or it was a young guy at Tech, mapping. They put this, and if I can insert photos, I'm going to try to do that, but it's kind of looks like a swim cap that's real fitted and rubbery, and it has like grid lines on it and stuff. And once that's all fitted on, I had a mouth guard and some earplugs, and then there's like this helmet that comes down, and the whole point is adjusting to the mapping on it to see where it gets to the point of being the most effective for your particular brain. And I'm not going to try to go into any kind of detailed explanation because I'll mess it up, but they're looking for, well, first he was looking for one of my feet to move when he did one of the pulses, and then if not, my hand. And we were struggling because it wasn't really working. I was making jokes about my skull being too thick, or having some neurological problems, which I do, like numbness and tingling in my hands and feet stuff, which could be an unrelated thing. But he went out, he had his supervisor come in, and she just kind of messed with it a little bit and got it just where it needed to be. So then I got to figure out the dosage thing, and it was, I guess what I've read and then talked to him about today is, if you could envision a woodpecker on your head, like pecking at your head, kind of deep, like on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say like a 6. Okay, uncomfortable but not. They do ask you certain questions about not. They want you to make sure you don't feel any movement or pain behind your eyes, and then anything that would be just wherever it is focused on causing too much pain. I think your temples was one of the other areas. There was a lot of information to take in, but I was also very anxious and nervous, so I was like not paying enough attention really. And I think tomorrow, going into day 2, it'll be a lot easier. So we get the rubber's swim hat on. He gets a position. She has to come in and tweak it. Then they do a pulse. My hand jerks. I think it was like 2 fingers, just kind of jerk. And once they knew that, then they knew they had the mapping spot right. Then they had to deal with the dosage. So she left, and he knew where to have it, and then strapped it on. It kind of has like a thick, tight, pretty tight, not uncomfortable, but firm, and then a strap on the back to keep it really in place and make sure that it makes the right connection. And then there was the pulsing, and I think he started lower. He said my optimal dose is going to be like 110, which I'm not sure what that means, but we had me at about 60, and I was like just so over it with stressed out from all the stuff up until then that I said I would just stick with that today. So my particular machine and my particular treatment are 3 minutes that it's a deep TMS, and it's like 8 seconds of the pulsing, and then there's a pause, and then 8 seconds and a pause. So the 3 minutes went really fast. And about halfway through, I knew I probably could have tolerated more than 60, but I said, let's just wait till tomorrow and kind of pick up from there. So, all in all, I was there an hour today. I thought I was going to be doing the initial stuff and 2 treatments, but it's just 1 today because of all the other stuff. And then tomorrow I will go have 3 minutes, and then have about 50 minutes break, and then a second treatment. And that will be every weekday for 3.5 weeks. It's 19 total days, 38 treatments, but there's the initial one that was the mapping and everything. So some people say they see results in a few days. Some people say they, midway through start to get some results. Some people not until the end. Sometimes it's residual, where a couple weeks later or whatever you start to really. So I'm learning as I'm going. I was a little freaked out. I texted my kids and sent some pictures of me and everything, and I said, there's hope 20 years from now. It's not you're laughing at me because I let them brainwash me or something, but I don't feel that way. I am confident that this is going to work, and I think going into it with a positive mindset like that is very important. I think getting the sleep, which I'm headed to do very soon, and eating healthy, and just taking care of myself. I'm going to try to spend time walking on the beach and drinking a lot of water. I want to get more sleep, even if it's a nap during the day, that's fine. And some self-help stuff. I've got some workbooks, I've got some books to read, I've just stuff I've accumulated and not had time to do. And I'm pretty positive for this to make some permanent changes and have things start to be different than they have been, because it's been a hard couple of years. It's been a hard life, but I want to say that the last few years really kind of pushed me past the point of wanting to function anymore, pushed me past caring or having hope, I guess you would say. And part of that's just being tired. You start to get older and just get tired. And when stuff's bothering you and bringing you down, and you have a lot of trauma and a lot of things that suddenly cause fear and suddenly make you jumpy, and it's just exhausting. So I love to just feel peaceful and move forward in the most healthy way possible, so that I can enjoy the rest of my life more than I have been, and start to do some of the things that I've really been waiting to do.